Hello, this is Janet from janetsandberg.com, and you're listening to the Phoenix Wisdom Podcast, the weekly show that talks to peers and professionals who open up about their darkest moments when they felt like ending it all, why they didn't, and how they transformed their lives in order to triumph over the darkness and despair. Please remember to subscribe if you'd like to hear more inspiring stories. Hello and welcome back, and welcome, Gina, to another episode of Phoenix Wisdom. I am your host, Janet Sandberg. We've been off for a couple of weeks over the holidays, and you are my first guest of the new year.
Oh,
So welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm so excited. So excited for 2024. It's going to be a great year. It's an 8-number year. We're going to go through a lot of change or a lot of coming together, a lot of learnings, and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this year and excited to talk to all of the guests, but let's get into you a little bit. Tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Gina Cavalier. Currently, I have a company called The Liberated Healer, which I started about 3 years ago. I was formerly in the entertainment business for about 25 years, working at studios like Warner Brothers and Disney, and working on really high profile projects like Harry Potter and things like that. I was just not feeling connected to myself and to my purpose and the people around me. I have a traumatic childhood that I never really dealt with, from the PTSD and the trauma with that. And so I was really living a life full of people pleasing, not really self-loving, but loving everything else and everyone else, and just complete burnout, to where I had chronic fatigue syndrome, and just never felt that I was belonged here, that I should continue this journey. Why did I even come here? Completely disconnected from the world around me, and still in love. I was a sweet thing, I just really loved everything, but just didn't have love for myself, and didn't know where to find it. So went on this journey, to one, about 15 years ago, just said, you know what, I can change this. I'm a pretty diligent person. I can figure this out, and went on a healing journey. And as you know, is like only that person inside can know what resonates with them, what doesn't resonate. Went down that path and picked things that were resonating with me and healing, and things that didn't make me feel good, I dropped them. And 15 years later, finally got to a place where I was like, wow, I'm pretty damn good. I'm feeling great about myself and where I am in my life. And then all of a sudden, Spirit came to me and said, okay, great. Now you need to teach others.
Mm-hmm.
And I fought it for a minute. I was like, no, I want to lay around for a little bit in this juicy, gooey love and keep it for myself for a while. And they said, no, this has not been the reason why you're doing this. You need to start helping others. They need it. And jumped full feet, face,
Everything
forward,
first, all in, all in.
all in.
Amazing.
And my life has never been better and more rewarding. And yeah.
Good. Good. Well, I'm excited to hear more details. So let's start. We'll start with the bad news and work up to the good news.
Yeah.
So tell us and our listeners, what was going on in your life when you were feeling so disconnected that you thought you didn't want to be here?
My suicidal ideation started around 8. I had a very abusive
Mm.
father. My mom was a dancer. She was never home, and wasn't very affectionate. I felt a deep. I saw myself as this beautiful flower that nobody ever wanted to look at or touch, and I couldn't figure out why.
Oh,
And then my parents got a divorce, and somehow my dad got custody of me, and it was not a very good situation.
oh no.
Um, and he was a violent alcoholic, and so it was a very fearful life. Never got any sleep. Was just living in constant chaos and fear. Um, and so I just didn't understand, and I feel sorry for, and I understand children that are going through that. They just don't understand, and a lot of fear and a lot of programming gets instilled early age that
Hmm.
you're not worthy. It can go on and on. Whatever your storyline is, insert here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
they're all not good. And especially when you take safety away from a child, that safety and that fear, it starts a programming inside of you. And for me, it was fear of being abandoned. And my ideation was not constant, because I'm a very, in normal terms, I was a very kind of positive person. I'm very driven. Uh,
Hmm.
and I'm a curious George. I love education. I love learning and things like that. So I would go ups and downs with my ideation. So it wasn't a consistent through line.
Right.
Uh, but anytime a huge life hit would happen, like a breakup with someone, or I lost a job, or there was a conflict with a good friend, um, I would go down a rabbit hole. And in that rabbit hole was a deep a friend of mine. I kind of considered it a friend, this sorrowful, self-pity friend that would hold me in a way and just tell me, yeah, I probably should go. I
Hmm.
don't belong here. And it became almost like a friend, like an obsession. If you hear people talk about any kind of disorders, they have like an eating disorder, or they're cutting or anything like that, there's this weird um relationship that you start to
Hmm.
build with this sorrow that you have inside. Um, and
Well,
so
it becomes comfortable, right?
yeah, and sort of, and it's the one thing you really can control. So
Hmm.
you could be at, I would say, once in a while I'd be at a dinner party with everybody, having a smiling and have a good time, and just be sitting there smiling and laughing with everybody. And inside, I'm like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to kill myself, or I want to go home and think about how I could kill myself, because I don't belong here. I don't belong in
Yeah.
this conversation.
Yeah.
And there was a control factor, because you are in control of that. You kind of feel, it makes you feel a little bit strong for a second,
It
like,
does. Yeah.
uh, I have control over this thing,
I have
that
control over nothing else in my life, but I get to decide whether I stay or go. That's,
yes.
yeah.
And it's sad, and that's why when I really want to help other people, I want them to see and feel and understand that this can be healed. At least I can say it's been healed in me, so I'm just one person.
Mhm.
But I think that if I saw someone say, no, you don't have to live the rest of your life like that, really, you don't, I probably would have like, really? Oh, great. That's good news.
Yeah.
um and that's why we did write the book. So that's sort of how the ideation kind of played a role in my life. I think the worst ideation I ever had was my first divorce. Um, my husband was kind of a nobody singer, and we worked really hard in his career. And I want to mention this because it's somebody a lot of these people that have these kind of hardships in their life. Like, I gave my attention to everybody else, their
Hmm.
career. They were the talented ones. They were the ones that were going to do something special. I would not put the focus on my career. I would just say, oh, you have to listen to them. So I put all my love and attention on them. And then when it was come to me, I had no love left. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I had no value within myself. And
Hmm.
I really truly believe is because I thought, if I give them all my attention and love, they won't leave me.
Right.
And my thing was fear of abandonment, going back to that. So, but we all know that's not true.
Right.
You- Um, so eventually, my husband, he became kind of a semi-famous singer in a band called Flogging Molly. Um,
Oh, I know them.
yeah,
Yeah.
he left me for a girl in his band because he was touring about 10 months out of the year. And I always say she got him a lot more than I did.
Sure. Yeah.
But I loved him so much. I still love him. I still have a love for him. But that was really hard for me. I'd have to say for about a year, I was just going to work like a little robot, and I did not want to come home. And
Yeah.
but I realized I had zero self-love.
Hmm.
I didn't even know what it felt like. And what happens is that no self-love grows into this big black hole kind of in your soul. And then your soul is separate from it feels like your soul is separate.
Yes. Yes.
You feel completely disconnected. You can even almost look at it and be like, you're not a part of me, are you?
Hmm.
You almost feel like you're floating on earth. You don't feel grounded. You don't feel connected to it. You
Yeah.
might see an image like a puppy that makes you just do a little smile, but you don't feel it.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there's like a numbness that comes over you. And
Exactly. Yeah. It's like life is happening all around you, but not
yeah,
to you. You're
yes,
not participating in it.
yes. And that's just a really hard place to get out of.
It is.
Very hard. And I had an incident that year. I was going through the divorce, and then at my office, we had a Christmas party, and I drank too much, and the owner of the company took advantage of me that night while I was passed out.
Oh my God.
And and it turned into a thing. I didn't want it to turn into a thing, but everybody wound up finding out about it and at the company. And everybody thought it was sort of my fault, and everybody stopped talking to me. And it turned into I wound up staying there for an entire year.
Oh my gosh.
But the best thing out of that situation is my lawyer got me a therapist.
Good.
And that therapist saved my life. And he was the first one that would said, no, we have to unpack all this stuff. And that wasn't your fault. And of course, you put that shame and the guilt on top of, I was already like feeling the worst I could. Because now the only thing thought I had was my career, right? Like I'm
Hmm.
a baller. I'm the hardest worker. Like I was like, I got this, I always got promoted. I always got great jobs. And now I don't have a career. Now I'm kind of being blacklisted, and nobody wants to talk to me, and people wouldn't even work with me.
Oh my
It
gosh.
in my business, in my department, they didn't even want to work on projects with me because they thought somehow I was doing something to hurt the person because he was a beloved character in our company.
Right.
Um, I never felt more alone in my life. I didn't have really support. I didn't have any family. I didn't have support really from my friends. But I found this doctor, and he really helped me. And that's really when my healing journey began. I splintered off and went deeply into the spiritual world on top of
Hmm.
it. And through those processes, through meditation, through like starting to see color again, starting to get reconnected with my soul and going, oh, that's what you look like, oh, why am I so mean to you? Why? Oh my God, you're just this beautiful floating ball of love. And yes, you've made mistakes, but why are you holding on to everything so much? And can I give that person love instead of everyone else around me? And that's really the second thing that changed my life. And I started to fall in love with myself. I love myself so much now, it's ridiculous. I mean, I laugh because I'm like, nope, yeah, even though I have a bad day or something else goes bad, it's like, and that's why I know I've healed the suicidal ideation, because I love myself so much. I mean, I can't even think about hurting myself. Everything I do in my life is in pursuit to helping myself.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I think that, I don't know if everybody who doesn't have suicidal ideation, if they start with self-love, maybe they do, but it is the first recipe in a happy life, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think just everybody goes about it differently. They might not call it self-love, in the spiritual side of things, that's what we talk about. We talk about, connecting with our souls and loving ourselves and all of that. And I'm sure if you're in a less spiritual path, then you might use different terminology, but really it's all the same thing. And it's just learning how to be present in life. And you said something about only doing the things that you enjoy and not, saying no to everything else. And it sounds easy, but it's not, especially when you've been in the habit of putting everybody else first, to actually even know what you like and what you enjoy to be able to do those things is a long ride.
I
Um,
was so bad at it. I mean, I would even have anxiety attacks by returning a piece of clothing that I didn't want or didn't fit or didn't, or even a meal.
mhm,
And that's how the level of fear I had for displeasing other people,
right.
and you
Yeah,
don't
it's
realize,
not just,
yeah,
friends and partners, it's everybody,
yeah. And then
total
I would,
strangers.
well, I'm like an angel. I'm really this sweet thing. How come everybody's hurting me? How come nobody likes me? And like, I felt like I had a kick me sign on the back of my, that was literally like a permanent kick me. And the self-pity grows, you know,
Mhm.
I did have control over that, but I didn't know that. And then
Right.
that self-pity, I was like, you're not good, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not educated enough. Um, People, there's a reason why people don't like you. There's a reason why all these people at this office turned on you, because you're unlikable. Like you create and it
Right.
just
The self-fulfilling prophecy.
and you live in it.
Yeah.
And anybody who's living that, you're gonna not want to be there. Who
Yeah.
wants to?
Yeah. So what did you do, like, exactly? You mentioned like meditation and you started seeing a therapist, obviously, but what were some of the other tools that you used?
And I use these every day still. I have a lot of PTSD still. I wake up almost every morning with a panic attack.
Oh
So I
my
use
gosh.
tools still every day, but the way I deal with them, it's just so different. My life is so different. Um, but for me, the first thing I did is I did go down some religious pathways. Studying Hinduism, Kabbalahism, Christianity. There was little bits and pieces that spoke to me, but I wasn't really good at formalized religion. And then I started going to different, Reiki healers or different healing sessions, shamans, people from Peru. I'm not very good at ingesting a different psychedelics or anything, so I
Mhm.
was always stayed away from that stuff. And for me, what changed for me is I learned about clairvoyant energy.
Mhm.
I, when I started studying clairvoyant energy, I went to a school called the Berkeley Psychic Institute.
Mhm.
And when that that changed instantly, I was like, oh my God, I found something I can really sink my teeth into. And plus, it was basically a school. So I started being taught different things about energy. I started performing readings on people. I started giving healings with a teacher for many, many years. But it wasn't just a session with a Reiki person. It wasn't
Right.
just a session. It was like almost like a mini college for psychics.
Mhm.
And I loved that because uh you have repetitive learning in that.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, that didn't feel good. Oh, it's instead of just doing like a weekend course. I mean, we literally had to do a certain amount of readings a week. It was really like a college. We had to do the classes, we had to do free readings. So after you do about 100 readings on people, you start to get this internal confidence. Like, I understand energy. When I look
Mhm.
at this part of this person, I see a green. And what does that green mean? And is that green stuck energy, and can I help move it? And then they would teach us how to move that energy for that person. And there was just this inner, like, you just start to stand up and walk different because you got, and then you also go in service of others, but
Mm-hmm.
not in a detrimental way. You're not laying down yourself for another. You're actually in service to help somebody, but also it helps you. So
Yes.
that mutual healing that you get is it's so rewarding. And so I really found, and then I kept hearing my guides a little bit more. And then I kept hearing stuff like, being in service makes you happy. Really, that's where you belong. And that's why I was such a people pleaser before. So it's okay that I was a people pleaser, but having boundaries of my energy,
Yeah.
um, creating, so I still was that person who just wanted to do great things for people, but now I can say, no, here, I'll do a little work on you, or we'll do this session, or here, having those boundaries. And then that inner confidence comes in, and then you start taking care of yourself. Just like when you're like, okay, I don't have a lot of energy today, but I'm just going to walk around the block just to move my body. That's inner care.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying I do what I can do right now. You
Yeah.
know, um, I wound up healing completely my chronic fatigue, completely, which is very hard to do. I
Yes.
did do that through raw foods and things and juices and different eating certain different things very cleanly, but it also was spiritual. I believe it because this it's sort of like the as below, as above, so below.
Yes.
I mean, so as I worked on my spirit, my body started to get better. I lost probably 40 to 50 pounds. I was carrying energetic weight from other people on me that I had taken on. Let me take that pain. And then it's like, I was just getting, my clothes sizes were getting bigger. I was
Mm-hmm.
getting a green color in my face. Um, and then you just go like, well, I'm a healer, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel very good though, So, also learning that self-care, in being in service is so super important. So, it just, it really does start to unravel. It might take, you're going to have some dark nights of the soul, though. You're going to have dark moments. But once you start reconnecting to your soul, and looking at and seeing how beautiful it is. I work with a lot of teenagers, and I just want to mention this because they're they're actually very gifted, and they understand things very quick.
Yes.
Sort of the older, like, people that have been around a long time is like don't want to learn anything new, but they're very depressed and they're very disconnected. But
Yes.
when you show them something, they get it pretty fast. And I've had clients bring their kids to me who have been in therapy almost their entire life and they're depressed. And usually within 4 sessions, they never want to go to a therapist ever again. And their parents can't believe it. And the first thing then they ask me, what did you do? And I say, I simply showed them their soul and how beautiful it is and what it looks like, what it sounds like, and that they are a high vibrational functioning being that belongs here and is supposed to be here. And I actually send them that image clairvoyantly usually, and they usually can get it, especially someone who doesn't, the youth. And it's almost like the first time you saw an animated movie, or like, just you see magic.
Mm-hmm.
You see your soul at that level, the vibration of it. That's another part, that self-love. You just go, oh my gosh, that is so neat and beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can go anywhere from there, and you can just apply the different techniques that resonate with you. And to go back to what I have to do on a daily basis, I have my iHome. At night, even though I live by the ocean, I still play the ocean at night. I need a calming sound almost always when I'm sleeping now. First thing I do is I put on meditation music, low throughout the whole house. I go to the different televisions, and I'll play high frequency, and I don't have it real blaring. I just have it real,
Yeah.
and you don't even know that it's sort of like keeping up the vibe all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I have a list. I have playlists in my like in my Spotify for different emotions. Like if I really want to up my energy, or if I really want to calm down and meditate, or if I'm feeling sad, I'll play like Electric Light Orchestra, I'm Alive. And for some reason, I will dance as soon as that song comes on. I will know that whatever triggered me or made me feel sad will just like really start to, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I was depressed or I was sad for a minute. But that works for me. So it's finding your tool
Yeah.
that works for your individual soul. But it's basically like you're got to survive for yourself. What is your list?
Yeah.
And
And do the work, because it is work, especially at the beginning, and like you said, that the depression and the darkness is so comforting for us in such a weird, twisted way, that it takes so much effort to do something good for ourselves and nourish our souls, and even just to pull up Spotify and play that song,
yeah,
or
there's shame and regret and like and realizing that all those, and you look, I look at it as a funnel, like going up or going down. And
Mhm.
it's really easy to know, am I thinking or feeling or embracing the funnel going up, joy, or am I taking the funnel down of shame and regret and judgment and criticism and things like that. So that would be like going inward to either my heart, where it is either usually you got your heart brain or your head brain, and wherever the pain is. And mine is a lot in my heart, because I actually feel that my heart felt broken. Sometimes some people really have to work on the mental, their mental healing, from past things or whatever, or the way that they talk to themselves, and kind of re-educate and reprogram how they talk to themselves. For me, it was just I really had a broken heart.
Yeah.
So mine was getting to my heart and doing soft, lovely things, just super calming and
Yeah.
reinforcing the love and the joy and things like that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and also, like what you said about finding joy, but also about being numb. Like at the beginning, you'll do things that used to make you happy or used to make you joyful, and you're just not quite feeling it. So, to anybody who's listening and being like, but it doesn't work, it will work. You just have to keep doing it. You have to get through that numbness and connect with your whole self again, in order
I
for those joyful feelings to come back and
I used
to
to do terrible things. I would drive. I had a truck. I had a pickup truck. I'm thinking about when I was like 17 years old. I think it might be in the coming book. It's called Surviving Suicidal Ideation: From Therapy to Spirituality and the Lived Experience. Because I asked a colleague of mine to write it with me, and she's a Dr. Amelia Kelly, and she's a trauma-informed therapist, because I wanted to have the therapy in there.
Mhm.
But I think in one part of the book, and actually Swedenborg Foundation is publishing it, so I wanted to say thank you to them.
Awesome.
But I would take my truck and I would drive in the rain, and I would drive as fast as I could go, like 120 miles an hour behind big rigs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care if I die, honestly. Like, and I feel really shameful even thinking about that, because I wasn't thinking that I could actually hurt somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in that moment, you're just thinking about yourself. But it's all around not good. Any
Mhm.
of um uh so it's those moments. Yeah, it can be very daunting. Very.
Yes. So just keep at it and keep
Yeah.
trying to connect with what feels good. And it's as simple as that. Like, what feels good right now? This choice or this choice? Which one feels better than where I'm at right now? And you don't have to go all the way to like from nothing to joy. That's a big gap. But what's the better choice? What am I going to feel better doing right now? Like you said, going for a walk around the block or staying here on the couch.
And that's why I really am excited about the book, because we have safety plans in there,
Oh,
which
awesome.
and also I'm starting a nonprofit, Suicide Ideation Anonymous, much like AA, because I started realizing if there's anything that needs to be anonymous, it's suicidal ideation, because people are shameful and they don't want to talk about it, and they're afraid that, oh, if I let people know, maybe it'll make me less able to get work, or they're scared. Is this gonna be a label I have to wear? And that's another reason why I wanted to talk about it so much and bring it out, is like, I really don't care if somebody doesn't want to hire me at this point, because I talk about it. But there wasn't there was years that I was very scared to talk about it, so I want to, so I'm in a place where I can do that. Not saying everybody has to get to that point, but it's scary, because you think about your whole life ahead of you, and then do you want people to know that? But the only way we can start bringing it out of the shadows is by recognizing that these are conversations that we need to have, and we need to have safe places for people to have these conversations.
Yes.
And you know it came down a lot with the mental health stuff that we are all started to unpack after COVID. But so we have safety plans in there, so you can write down who you're going to call when you have this level of emergency, things like that. And different ththings that you can fill out. The doctor has put in a bunch of different, like, little mini tests in there to figure out where you are. We broke out all the different kind of phases that you might be going through, like, so you can see what phase you might be in, and kind of start to, and we did the best we could. Who knows, because everybody has an individual
Yeah.
place that they're in. But I think breaking this down into really digestible pieces will help the masses, though.
Oh,
um
absolutely.
yeah.
And yeah, and then people can get the book and get help that way, the same way that we're doing this podcast and we're talking about it, so
Yeah.
that the people who can't talk about it or who are currently going through it have other people's stories to listen to and know that it gets better and know that it's not just them. Like it happens to so many of us, and why we don't talk about it is a
And I never
mystery to
even
me, but this is,
heard of a safety plan until I wrote the book with the therapist. I never heard of that.
yeah,
Like, that's actually, hey, who is a safe person I can reach out to? Like, I mean, it seems so simple,
yeah,
but no, I didn't know about that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining me today. Thank you for writing this book. When's it coming out?
June 5th. And
June
we're going to be
5th. Okay.
going, I'm supposedly going on tour to different colleges and high schools, and they're going to donate a bunch of books to people. And I think even if people write in and say that they can't afford, would like a copy, they're just going to be giving it to them. Uh, which is really why I went with them as a publisher, because they are a
Yeah.
nonprofit. And I just wanted it to get to as many people that needed to get to it. And we are talking about a book too. There'll be more about the spiritual side of things.
Hmm.
Um, but I did do 30 illustrations in it too. So I'm really
Oh,
excited that I'll also have, published illustrations, and I channel energy when I draw.
yep,
So there should be healing energy in the images for people that just want to zone out and maybe look at a picture,
yep,
because I think visuals are really important, because when you're in a dark hole, sometimes it's really hard to read anything.
yes, yes,
So I believe that the imagery is very important to help people, when they just they don't want to hear it. That's
yeah,
why visuals are good at that point.
yes, yes, they are. So I am looking forward to that. And I will make a note to follow up and find it when it comes out in June.
Oh, yes.
And that'll be easy to remember because that's my birthday month. So
Okay.
maybe that'll be my birthday present to myself.
Yes,
Buy
of
you a
course.
book.
And the just quickly, the second thing that came out of it was my life purpose, and I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know that I was going to be talking about suicidal ideation when I really fell in love with myself, and started unpacking the liberated healer. I was actually just teaching meditation to people and doing healing.
Hmm.
And the way that it unfolded, and now that this is like my path, it did really actually open up. And the way that I kind of express it to people is that, because I think when you don't feel like you have a life purpose, that can really just, like
Oh, yeah.
you're stuck at a job that you took because your dad gave it to you, or or somebody, and now how did I get involved in this type of work? This is just not, there's a way to still honor where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and respect that moment, that you maybe that it has its purpose and it's still its lessons. But if you really see something out there that you're like, God, I wish I could do that, or that's something calling me, you can make baby steps towards that life purpose and
Yeah.
let it hold around you. And when you have your life purpose, like what you have now and I have now, uh just the gates just open. The obstacles fall away so much easier because
Yes.
you're living in your life purpose, and whatever that might be. And the mountains turn into hills a little, and we're always going to still have to climb through muck,
Mm-hmm.
to become a beautiful lotus flower out of the mud. But the mountains get smaller and they become more manageable. And I just wanted to end on that, because that's usually the second thing that people really go like, oh, how am I going to ever become that version of me that somehow my soul is screaming for? Um, Once you unpack it, it'll become revealed to you. If you have to lose a few friends along the way too, or people that you no longer resonate with, that's really hard for a suicidal person.
Mm-hmm.
Think about losing people. um you can't control it anyways. You learn how to just let the energies fall as they may, and you learn how to still love them even if they're falling away, and not, and that is a practice, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you
Yeah.
get.
And then suddenly you realize that, oh, actually, my life is better without them.
Well, it leaves space open for new people
Yeah.
that actually resonate with you, that will treat you better, that will understand your boundaries. And so that's why I would like to mention that with people, because I lost a lot of people, and I call them lost, and I don't even have a replacement word yet, but it's not really lost. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, they've transitioned into their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, but it was scary at first
Yeah.
when my friends are like, what? We like that Gina who used to do everything for us without question
Yeah.
or comment. We don't like, you're kind of talking back now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That was the relationship we had. So when you try to set
When you
boundaries,
start standing up for yourself,
yeah,
your
they don't
friends are
like
like,
it.
who are you? And what are you doing? And I don't like this version. And you're
You used to run my company for free. You used to run my events for free, or whatever it was, and now you want to get paid or whatever. And it's that, yes, and if they love you, they will see that you are, elevating yourself. I mean, if there's someone who's supposed to be in your life and you have a mutual
yeah.
connection, they will support you through that. And um I don't know. I just like to mention, really be kind to yourself in those moments, and try to get out of the negative bad talking to yourself or in your heart, like
Yeah.
that it is your fault. Remember, you're doing this for your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For your life, for your soul,
Yes.
for your purpose. Just, yeah, for you, so
Yes.
that you want to stay.
Yes. I
Yes.
want to stay
Me
forever.
too.
Yeah. And I have so much love for people. And when I see them hurting somebody, I just want to grab them and just,
Yeah.
oh, we can do this. I understand. And you can.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gina, for being with us and sharing your story and sharing more in your upcoming book. And yeah, we'll stay in touch, and I look forward to it.
Thanks for the opportunity, and many blessings to everybody. And I'm at the Liberated Healer if you have any questions.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for listening. Remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you are valuable, you are meant for more, and that it really does get better. If you are in crisis, there are numbers that you can call or text to get the help that you need. That information for Canada and the US is in the description below each episode. If you are in immediate crisis, please call 911. We love you, and I hope you'll listen again.